Are you ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
All right, Parker just lost connection, so we'll figure this thing out without him for a couple minutes. We'll get Parker Thune on live from Skinny Slims out there at OKC here in just a moment. He'll probably start talking whenever he gets back online. Welcome in, Friday edition, Locked In, Grayson Singleton, Ref Radio Sports Network. Glad you guys are tapping in with us today. Show is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC out in El Reno. You know them for their family-friendly service, low-pressure sales environment, and tomorrow is Saturday, so half-price oil changes on Saturdays. We tap in with our friends at Dorsey Jones GMC for that. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I don't know if I'm the first person on these airwaves today to say that, but happy Juneteenth, everybody. Again, Parker's out there at Skinny Slims ahead of the World Cup. U.S. about to take on Australia in the World Cup today as well. We'll talk some baseball. We'll continue the baseball conversation as Oklahoma preps to take on North Carolina this weekend for the National Championship Series. There is my buddy, Parker Thune. What's going on, homie? Happy Juneteenth.
Oh, boy, we are going through it out here at Skinny Slims in OKC. I should say I am. The folks here are having a great time. Skinny Slims is the spot if you want somewhere to watch USA Australia this afternoon in the World Cup, out here courtesy of our good folks at Coop Ale Works, which, of course, carries the famous Schooner All-American Ale, the official craft beer of University of Oklahoma Athletics. But, yeah, okay, I think we're back. I think we're back for good. I don't think we should have any connection issues the rest of the way. Crossing my fingers on that one, but let's have a show, Grayson.
Yeah, let's do it, brother. I guess you can see there USA and Australia has already kicked off, so I'll keep tabs on that while we're here. I'll probably be watching that the rest of the afternoon.
I wonder how we'll know if anyone scores.
Describe the setting out there, man.
I mean, there's probably 200, 250 people crammed into this place and around this place, outside, watching from the lawn, watching from the sidewalk. Yeah, it's jam-packed out here at Skinny Slims. And then there's me sitting in the corner talking about OU football recruiting. So, you know, it's a grand old time for all involved.
Do you feel out of place in a soccer environment? Like, do you know soccer? Are you used to hanging around a bunch of soccer fans, or is this
I don't know a dang thing about soccer, man. Soccer is so far out of my wheelhouse.
So if I asked you to tell me what offside is, you wouldn't be able to tell me.
I do know what offside is.
Okay.
Because I think it's a very confusing, weird rule in soccer. You know, like because it's not that way in any other sport. You know, in football, a wide receiver gets wide open behind the secondary. He's not getting flagged for hauling in a long touchdown pass. In basketball, a guy gets a fast break layup.
Yeah.
He's not getting a technical foul for not having a defender between him and the basket. So I know the rudimentary concepts of soccer.
Okay.
I don't know anything about the actual competitive landscape of soccer.
Okay. Very, very good. All you need to know is that coming off of last Saturday, U.S. looked like they look better than they have in the last decade. So that's something for you to know, and I guess our best player is not playing today.
And our best player is the guy that wears number 10, right?
Yeah, Christian Pulisic.
There we go. Okay, I didn't know the name, but I knew the number.
Yeah, he is down for today. But, yeah.
Dang, that sucks.
What kind of recruiting stuff you got for us today, Park?
Oh, man. Well, obviously, as we sit here on a Friday, heading into the final official visit weekend across the country, at least on the summer slate for so many of these kids, a bunch of guys taking their last OV before, you would imagine, decision takes place, and several of those guys have already been to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's done hosting official visitors. They hosted official visitors May 29th through the 31st that weekend. They hosted official visitors the weekend of June 12th through the 14th, but they're done. They're just kind of sitting at home, chilling, waiting for the few priority targets left on their board to finish up their OV swings. And so a couple guys, for instance, that overlapped on their OV weekend at Oklahoma would be Bode Sparrow and Uhila Wolfgramm. Both of those guys are at BYU this weekend. Josh Christensen out of the state of Oregon, the three-star defensive lineman, 6'5", 255 pounds. He's officially visited Oregon, Washington, Illinois, I believe Utah. He's at Cal this weekend to wrap up his OVs. And then that might be it, right? Well, Jaden Fields at TCU. That's the other one that we're all kind of watching. But Oklahoma has 6 guys off the dome, 6 guys that are automatic takes, no question about it. They want in at Oklahoma. They got a spot at Oklahoma. That would be Sparrow, Wolfgramm, Christensen, and Fields, the aforementioned 4. And then, of course, Case Alexander and Corey Laga, whom we're still waiting on. The 4-star linebacker from Washington, Oklahoma, the 4-star offensive lineman from Lamont, Illinois. Both of those guys are done with their OVs. They're just processing the final factors in their own decision-making calculus before arriving at their choice. So, man, there's not a whole lot left to wait on right now in the Oklahoma recruiting realm. The Sooners have 25 commits. It's a dang good class, number 3 in the country. But you can definitely pour some gravy on it with some of these late additions that Oklahoma would like to make before the summer is over with, in the form of Sparrow, Wolfgramm, Alexander, Christensen, Fields, and Corey Laga. So it's really about those 6 right now. Those aren't the only 6 that we're keeping an eye on, but those are the primary 6.
It is, and I feel like the longer the BYU tussle with Bode Sparrow and with Uhila Wolfgramm goes on, especially with Sparrow because of the LDS connection that you and I discussed yesterday. You know, I feel like you start to get a little bit concerned there the longer it goes on, even though we know and have known for a long time that this is Oklahoma's guy until it's not, so to speak. So that to me is the one I'm looking at, is that does that LDS connection make us a little bit uncomfortable as it pertains to BYU? Other than that, man, it's a really weird feeling having 80% of your work done by June 19th in a given cycle.
Yeah, it's not often in the past. I can't think of a cycle in the past where this has been the case, where Oklahoma or any other school for that matter. Well, USC maybe did this a couple years ago where they had what amounts to a full class committed by June. But this is not the norm at Oklahoma. I mean, in the past, it's been a good year. It's been a good cycle for Oklahoma if by mid-June they've got 15 guys committed. Generally, it's in that range of 10 to 12. And Oklahoma's got 25 right now, which, again, we talked earlier in the week about Jim Nagy's contract extension, the work that he's been able to do and the structure that he's been able to establish as Oklahoma's GM over these last 16 months. It speaks to a very well-organized operation when you can have 25 guys committed in this day and age, Grayson, because it's not what it used to be. It's not just, you make the best impression on a kid, you make him feel like this is home, he's committed to Oklahoma. That's not how it goes anymore. These days, you have to have the money figured out. You have to have the compensation arranged. You have to go through the kid's agent and hash out all of those details before you can get the commitment finalized. And so for Oklahoma to be this far ahead of the curve in the 2027 cycle is even more impressive, given that we're talking about the 2027 cycle, than it would have been if they'd had 25 commits locked in by this time in, say, the 2022 cycle.
Yeah, no, and the difference is, the main difference, the uncommon denominator, is the presence of the front office and how they cast a broad net, Parker. But I think this is something we haven't said. Sure, they cast a broad net, but it doesn't feel like they cast a broad net because it doesn't feel like we're talking about kids on this show that they have no shot at, right? Like people will go down the recruiting rankings and see, there's like a 5-star here, like the texter that asked if we were in on John Meredith a couple of weeks ago. But Oklahoma has never brought to our attention themselves a kid that they have no shot at, which makes it a more, like you say, a more targeted effort, and it also kind of raises that hit rate a little bit as well, is that we're going to go seriously on guys that we know we got a shot at, and we're just going to leave everybody else alone. And it not only does it make the process from offer to commitment seem more efficient, but it also seems like it makes everybody's jobs more efficient too.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. And, man, they don't get everybody, obviously. There's still going to be kids that they want, kids that they prioritize, kids that they host for official visits that wind up going to other schools. Great recent example would be a guy like Brian Swanson. Oklahoma was insistent upon taking their shot with that kid, even though he'd been a Texas lean for a long, long time. They got him up on the OV. He considered Oklahoma, but in the end, OU couldn't supplant Texas, and he committed to the Horns.
Or a guy like Gideon Gash.
Yeah, Gideon Gash, never gets the chance to make it to Oklahoma for his OV because Texas Tech sweeps him off his feet. Same with Stanford and Ben Kolar, right? And so there are always going to be cases in the future. This is just kind of an indefinite reality in college football. One of the things that's never going to change is you're going to go after kids. You're going to feel like you got a dang good shot to land a kid going into official visit season, and for one reason or another, it tilts another direction. For instance, like as of right now, yeah, I'd project Bode Sparrow and Uhila Wolfgramm into Oklahoma's class, but I don't get that same vibe with Josh Christensen. I think he's going to wind up staying local. I think there's a lot of work to be done for Oklahoma at this point to overcome Washington and Oregon at the top of that recruitment, and I just, they've already had their shot at him on the OV. I question whether there is enough margin for Oklahoma to make up the requisite ground on Washington and Oregon to be able to close that kid, or to be able to close on that kid's commitment, I should say. So, man, I take it the United States
just
scored.
They just did.
Well,
was that an own? I can't tell if that was an own goal or not.
Isn't that how they scored first against Paraguay?
Yeah.
Last week?
Yeah,
it was an own goal?
Yeah, it was an own goal.
Well, I should probably just not bother talking for about the next 30 seconds. I'm not getting in the way of this. I mean, there are people out here in full Revolutionary War garb, Grayson. There are people that are embracing the patriotism to the nth degree.
Hey, talk about it, man. You love to see it.
So 1-0 lead for the Americans over the foes from down under.
I'm trying to see. Okay, they're just now showing a replay, so I'm trying to see if this was an own goal or not.
What's the verdict?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yes, it was.
Team of Destiny, question mark?
Shoot, maybe. Like I said at the top, man, this is the best the Americans have looked on the men's side in the last decade. It was definitely an own goal.
Okay, so there you go. Great day to be an American. Even better day than it usually is because, as we know, it's always a great day to be an American.
You want to get to the text line?
Yeah, first and foremost, though, should let people know that the show is brought to you by Dorsey Jones
Already
CMC
did that.
in El Reno. Oh, you did that? Okay, look at you.
Hey, you're
Smart man.
not the only professional over here, Parker.
This is true. This is true. I wasn't sure how much I missed for the 90 seconds, 2 minutes that I dropped, but look at you taking care of all my business for me. Thank you. But, yes, let's go to the text line. What do the folks in the text line say?
Yeah, 405-651-3439 on the First Liberty Bank text line. 3-star Glenn from Nashville says, I'm starting to get the feeling Sparrow is not coming to OU. If not, do they have anybody else in mind for a scholarship offer for his position?
Okay, well, I guess I would be curious. Like, why are you starting to get the feeling that Sparrow isn't coming to OU? What would lead you to believe that? Because Sparrow's been consistent in his messaging all throughout the process as to how he's going to navigate OV season, which is he's going to take all 4 of his OVs and only 4 OVs, and then he's going to consider all of the relevant factors and make a decision. So if you feel like this is dragging out or it's lasted too long, again, I'm not sure why you would feel that way because he was always going to take all 4 trips. And Oklahoma's level of confidence hasn't changed. I don't think the level of confidence nationally from some of the most plugged-in reporters across the industry that cover recruiting on the broad scale as opposed to just OU, I don't think their tone has changed about all of this. The feeling is still very much that Bode Sparrow is going to wind up being a Sooner after he winds up, I should say after he finishes all of his official visits. And so as he goes to BYU this weekend, the one thing that we've continued to reference that could get in the Sooners' way in this whole process is, of course, the LDS factor with Sparrow. It's something you have to be mindful of. It's one of the reasons why you can never count out BYU with a kid that's of the LDS faith. But until further notice, assume that Bode Sparrow is going to wind up in Oklahoma's class. That is a safe assumption as of now. We'll see if I'm singing the same tune on Monday, but there's been nothing that's happened over the last 3 weeks since he took the OV to Oklahoma that has changed the OU staff's mind as to whether or not he's going to wind up a Sooner wearing the crimson and cream. So if Bode Sparrow does not choose to come to Oklahoma and he goes to BYU or wherever, let's say he surprises everyone and wants to be an Oregon Duck, I have no doubt Oklahoma has a short list of guys that they're going to pivot to, and they'll explore other options, backup options. That probably also increases the priority level of the Jaden Fields recruitment on the OU end, because you got to have a second safety beyond Jalen Scott at that point. Got to have him. And so I would imagine Oklahoma would push very, very hard to get Jaden Fields in the boat and then look for a third safety from there. But I would push back against the notion that the feeling in Bode Sparrow's recruitment has grown any different since he took that OUOV and came to the Sooner Scoop studios, did that exclusive interview with us, and definitely gave everybody the impression that Oklahoma had the strong advantage in his recruitment. With that, let's hit a quick opening timeout. We'll get back to the First Liberty Bank text line on the other side, and obviously we'll continue to keep tabs on the USA-Australia soccer match that is currently happening in front of a throng of red-blooded Americans here at Skinny Slim's in OKC. That's where I'm at. Grayson's back in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios. We're just getting started here on Locked In. It's a Friday. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Stay with us.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Right here in our backyard, sellers trust Purple Wave Auction to move their equipment, from excavators and ag equipment to trucks and specialty trailers. Our no-reserve online auctions help local sellers turn iron into opportunity. You get a dedicated territory manager who knows your operation, your market, and your timeline, backed by nationwide buyer demand, local service, national reach, real results. See why more sellers choose Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com to get started today.
They don't want to hire you because your paper might say Oklahoma School for the Blind.
I was just completely homebound because I was always too afraid to go outside. I want to be a productive member of society, and that's what DRS has given me.
They offer you opportunities to getting a job, helping you learn how to advocate for yourself, find the best way to try living your life in the fullest way possible.
Oklahoma and DRS has been the biggest blessing in my life.
See me.
And not my disability.
Hey, this is Josh Elmer, inviting you to join us for the Gimme Zone, the best live golf show in Oklahoma. This Saturday, Brian Vineyard and I, we're coming to you live from Land Run Links and more, Oklahoma's most realistic indoor simulator. We'll be talking about the third major of the year, the U.S. Open, plus OU baseball at the College World Series, and plenty more from around the world of golf and sports. Listen live from 8 to 10 a.m. this Saturday with me, Josh Elmer, and Brian Vineyard on the Gimme Zone. And listen live on the KREF app, brought to you by Warren Cap.
Would she say yes? All evening, he'd been waiting for the perfect moment to drop to one knee. Finally, he pulled the box from his pocket to reveal the surprise he had waiting for her. He had practiced the words over and over in his head. As he took the sparkling ring from its hiding place, he forgot them all. But words were not necessary. She gasped at the diamond, mesmerized by its brilliance and all that it symbolized. It was the perfect ring, and of course she said yes, as she threw her arms around his neck. When you're ready to pop the question, do it with a ring that says it all. There's a perfect ring for every woman in the world, and we have yours waiting at Lewis Jewelers on I-35 and more. Why don't you come and see for yourself? A diamond is forever. Wouldn't you rather say it came from Lewis Jewelers? Call us at 703-4644.
Beats and Bites is back for its 10th anniversary. Join us to celebrate a decade of delicious food, incredible live music, and unforgettable memories at Riverwind Casino.
Chasing the sun. miss the fun with Flatland Cavalry, Saturday, July 11th.
I know I could find me a place
with Jason Boland and the Stragglers.
The sun is shining somewhere in Texas.
Book your tickets online or at the box office for only $10. And we'll see you at Riverwind.
Hey guys, it's Dory Noka. Have you been involved in an auto accident? If so, it's time to contact the OKC Car Crash Clinic of Dr. Martin Lopez. He's a board-certified and fellowship MD with unparalleled training and experience. Dr. Lopez works with a great team of healthcare professionals and attorneys to help you achieve the best physical and financial recovery. Contact Dr. Lopez at 405-86-CRASH or at okccrash.com. Don't forget to listen every week to the Dory Noka Show for the Impact Player of the Game, brought to you by Dr. Martin Lopez.
Make this the summer event at Lander CDJR of Norman and get hot deals like up to $15,500 off of MSRP on select new 26 Ram 1500 Crew Laramie trucks, and get 2.9% financing for 72 months, or take $15,000 off of MSRP on all new remaining 25 Jeep Wranglers in stock. And as always, get straightforward internet pricing with no special add-ons when you get here. Ram stock number TN179219 must finance with Stellantis Financial for 2.9% for well-qualified buyers. Wrangler stock number SW648169.
Locked in, rolling along here at the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune out here at Skinny Slims. Grayson Singleton back in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios. Hanging with all y'all on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And let's go right there, Grayson. What do the folks want to talk about?
Yeah, let's go. Five-star Brian in Bixby says, happy Juneteenth, Grayson. Appreciate you, homie. He also says it was a damn good own goal to get the U.S. on the board 1-0. Braylon from the 580 says, wait, did Parker say he was with a bunch of skinny Americans in thongs watching soccer?
That's not quite an accurate description of what's going on out here at Skinny Slims.
No, but you said Skinny Slims, and then you said throng.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes, I can see how that could have been misconstrued. But, no, I mean, USA's up 1-0 on Australia. Every so often you'll get a noise pop, get a crowd pop from out here. Feels like I'm in a legit sporting venue, even though I'm just here at the corner of Main and Walnut in downtown OKC.
One-star Sooner JoJo says, would OU have this highly rated a class if not for the addition of a front office?
I mean, maybe at the end of the cycle, there's a world where Oklahoma could have climbed into the top 3, but I don't think Oklahoma has been or ever would be number 3 in June without the presence of a front office. Now, I'll go back to this. We talked about it the day that Nagy was extended, and I think it bears repeating. The one thing that tended to trip Oklahoma up with regard to recruiting in the NIL era prior to the existence of the front office was there wasn't always a clean chain of command and flow of communication as to how they were going to allocate their resources and where those resources needed to be allocated and what they needed to prioritize with their money. And so that led to a lot of situations where Oklahoma would get close with a high-dollar, high-value recruit and then not be able to seal the deal. And so Nagy, I think why that was such a wise hire is because between him and Lake Dawson and Taylor Redd and all of the agent connections that they bring to the table, the ability to get the jump start on working out the finances of the deals with blue-chip recruits, that gave Oklahoma, that kind of unlocked an ability for Oklahoma to fight and win these battles for the best of the best nationally that in the last few years they just haven't been able to win with regularity. There's an exception to every rule, right? They got Michael Fasusi, they got Jake Krell, but, I mean, to be frank, both of those guys came to Oklahoma at a discount, and that's kind of how it was for a couple years there before Nagy got to town, was everything that makes Oklahoma football special, everything that defines the Oklahoma culture, none of that has ever changed over the course of the Venables era. That's always been something that recruits and their families have valued, Grayson. But that only gets you so far when there are other schools willing to invest far more heavily into a given prospect, into a given recruitment, than Oklahoma was. And so there would be times, there would be a lot of instances where the bidding would get to a certain point and Oklahoma would just kind of bow out. But when you have a front office in place and you can sell these guys early on culture and development and high-level coaching and camaraderie with their teammates at a place like Oklahoma, and all of those aspects of the recruiting process that have traditionally been so strong for your program, but then you can preempt the bidding war itself by being able to hammer out the numbers, the desired numbers on the agent's end, on the family's end, on the player's end, and get that deal done before you ever get to OV season and have to engage in an auction in a bidding war for a player's services. That has increased Oklahoma's ability to lock these kids down and hang on to them as well because, I mean, once you have contracts signed, you're good, man. You don't have to worry about the kid changing his mind or flipping his commitment the rest of the way in many instances.
Pastor MC asks, am I wrong feeling nervous with anyone we're seeking that is visiting Cal?
I mean, look, I know after the whole Damari DeZern thing happened, I can understand why folks would be antsy about a recruit that's visiting Cal. I'll just say this. That situation had less to do with Cal itself and more to do with Oklahoma just being done with Damari DeZern's camp and the will he, won't he dynamic of that whole process. And they wanted to keep taking visits. They wanted to keep driving the price up. And at a certain point, Oklahoma just said, no, you know what, you're clearly not committed here. You're not committed to coming here. And you want to continue to play this out and get the best deal for yourself, that's fine. It's not going to be at Oklahoma. We're going to cut you loose. And so Cal is not like the Oregon, Miami, Texas A&M level boogeyman with a giant bag that's going to steal recruits from under your nose with regularity. That said, with Josh Christensen going there this weekend, like, I'll be frank here, and this shouldn't be an observation that surprises anyone. You can understand why a school like Cal might be willing to put a higher value on a Josh Christensen than Oklahoma would, because a guy like Christensen has a higher chance of being a dude at a place like Cal, and there's more of a need for him given the composition of their current class. Oklahoma has 3 defensive tackle commits and 2 edge commits as it is. They don't need Josh Christensen. They'd love to have him, but Cal may pay the we need you price as opposed to Oklahoma, which is willing to pay the we want you price, if that makes sense.
Value is relative. And,
yes.
I mean, what would mean more in your house may mean less to me in my house or vice versa, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's how that's going to go. And that's the cool thing about the NIL era, too, is that, you know what, more guys can make more money because they might be more valuable somewhere else.
Yeah.
And, you know, as you know, when the money's going around, I mean, the world's never worse for the money, you know, going around. TK Sooner says, don't get me wrong, Parker, I can't stand soccer, but you just pissed a lot of people off by saying 1-0.
Sorry, 1-0.
There you go.
Nil is only a soccer thing.
It is only a soccer thing.
Like, I see 1-0 on a scoreboard, I'm like, oh, 1-0.
Yep, nope, it is only a soccer thing.
Yeah, okay, I'll do better, I promise. The USA leads Australia 1-0
there you
currently.
Go. Todd in OKC. Parker, what's your latest opinion on Case Alexander?
Still don't know. Still waiting. Everybody's still in the dark, man. We'll see. We know it's Oklahoma or Penn State, but nobody can really tell which of the 2 schools has the inside track at this point or which one he's favoring. And I don't know that he's favoring one. I mean, I'm sure he is at this point because he and his folks have had a few days at this point to kind of sit on it all and evaluate the choice from every relevant angle. And that's not to say anything is going to get decided imminently. It still may be a few more days, few more weeks even before we get a verdict from Case Alexander. But he's done a very, very good job, even with the coaching staffs that are involved, of not tipping his hand and making sure nobody is quite certain of what he's feeling. Maybe that's just the kid being a good poker player. Maybe that just comes down to the reality that the kid is truly, genuinely torn between these 2 schools and doesn't want to have to tell one of them no. So, I don't know, man. We're all waiting to see what happens there. That could be, I mean, we could get that decision tomorrow. We could get it next week. We could get it next month. I don't think he's still going to be uncommitted by the time his senior season rolls around in August. But I know he's given the indication to the Oklahoma staff and to the Penn State staff that a decision is coming soon. Of course, there's not necessarily a particular clock on quote-unquote soon. So we'll know when we know. Until then, all we can do is guess.
Jason M. says, locked it in. I'm going to Game 2 and Game 3 if necessary up there in Omaha, and he did send us his ticket confirmation.
He sent us his ticket confirmation?
He did send a screenshot of his confirmation.
Does that mean I can take that screenshot and get into Charles Schwab Field?
No.
Posing as him?
No, because these days you got to put the ticket in your Apple Wallet and then they scan it that way.
Okay, good. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with that, Jason. And there's no such thing as a physical ticket anymore. Oh, gosh, let me tell you. Anything digital can be compromised. We found this out this morning hard way because, come to find out, my wife has been getting fraudulently charged on her credit card for several months now in regular installments. Charges that are pretty minimal, and so you really got to have an attentive eye if you're going to pick out the pattern and pick out the reality that they're not actually genuine charges, not expenditures that she actually made, but she was tracing it all back, and it's been happening since like February, man. Every few days, get another charge that shows up as an Amazon charge, and I feel like as most folks do these days in society, we buy a lot of the stuff we buy off of Amazon because it can get to our house in 6 hours. And so, you see an Amazon charge, you don't really think twice about it. It took her a while to pick up on that pattern, but once she did, had to get on the horn with the credit card company, report all those charges as fraudulent, stop the card, cancel the card, and arrange to have a new one mailed. So anything digital can be compromised. This is having a digital-focused society, more so and more so over the last 15, 20 years, has certainly made some things easier and more convenient. Like if you're going to a sporting event, all you got to do is have your cell phone on you, which everyone does at all times, and you can pretty much navigate every aspect of the physical experience of watching a sporting event in the venue with just your cell phone. You can pay for concessions with Apple Pay on your phone. You can scan your ticket on Ticketmaster at the door. But then again, you have to worry about the security measures, the additional security measures that come into play when everything is digitized. Because in the old days, if you had a ticket, man, it was a physical ticket, and you were the only one that could access that ticket unless somebody mugged you on the street, right?
Or you lost it.
Yes. You lose it, somebody picks it up on the street, okay, you're kind of out of luck.
Right.
But these days, man, and I tell you, the digital schemers, the hackers, the fraudsters, they just get smarter and smarter.
You mean
wiser
the scammers?
And wiser. Scammers.
Yeah.
Scammers everywhere.
Yeah. You're headed up to Omaha, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I'll be headed up as soon as we get off the air here.
What do you think about it? What's your early read on this championship series?
Man, I'm excited. And the reason I'm excited is because this team feels – I didn't figure I'd be saying this. They feel somehow more unstoppable than that 2022 team did. And that 2022 team was hot, man. I mean, Oklahoma's been riding high this year for about the last 3-4 weeks, and that's really it. Ever since the SEC tournament, they flipped a switch, they cranked it into gear, they've been a different team. That Oklahoma team in 2022 got hot in about mid-April and never slowed down. I mean, they were arguably the best team in the country over the final 2 months of that season. Blew through the Big 12 tournament, went down to Gainesville, faced a really talented Florida team, and won that regional in 7 games. Went to Supers in Blacksburg, knocked off Virginia Tech, got to the CWS, and went 3-0 in bracket play all the way to the championship series. And we all kind of thought, okay, it's meant to be. This team's invincible. They're going up against Ole Miss. Ole Miss was the last team in the championship field, the field of 64 for the tournament. This is the Sooners' battle to lose, right? And as it would turn out, Ole Miss put a drubbing on Oklahoma in Game 1, and Sooners led 2-1, as I recall, in the 8th inning of Game 2. Ole Miss strung together a rally and was able to put the Sooners away. So that team felt unstoppable. This team somehow feels even more unstoppable. And I think the reason for that, Grayson, is because if you've watched OU baseball the last few weeks, ever since they got hot, it hasn't just been one guy, right? It hasn't even been like a small group of guys. Like, it's the same 2-3 guys on every single night that are going deep, that are making plays on defense, that are staking Oklahoma to leads and coming up with timely hits in big moments to keep them a step ahead. No, man, it feels like everybody in this lineup, 1 through 9, everybody on this pitching staff, everybody that's seen substantial action out of the bullpen, everybody, it feels like, has had a moment over the course of this run. And I think it speaks volumes when you can go into a game like the Sooners had against Georgia on Wednesday night, and arguably the two most light-hitting members of your lineup, and Jason Walk and Deshaun Harris, both leave the yard twice.
Yeah.
So I don't see why you wouldn't feel great about Oklahoma going into this championship series, especially with Rager on the bump in Game 1 and a full arsenal of bullpen arms available.
Yep.
And then, of course, Xander Mercurius lined up for Game 2.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jay Walk and Harris, too. It just seems like they're doing so much to outperform what they normally are. And when you do that, it's a double-edged sword, too, when you outperform such a large sample size, because you think, okay, there might be a regression to the mean. Have they given us any sign to think that there's a regression to the mean coming? I would say no.
I would say no as well.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I think part of the reason this feels more sustainable, too, is if you go back to 2022, and that was the first year that Reggie Willits was on staff as the baseball equivalent of Oklahoma's offensive coordinator. Like, he was the offensive czar of this team. But in 2022, man, the chaos hashtag was kind of a good way to encapsulate what Oklahoma was about. They hit home runs, but not with jarring frequency, right? They thrived on stealing bases, moving guys over, wreaking havoc on the base paths, passing the bat, and manufacturing runs. What this team has done in the home run department throughout the postseason leads me to believe that there's far less of a chance that the bats just all of a sudden go cold the way that they did in the championship series in 2022. Because, again, everybody 1 through 9 is capable of knocking one over the fence at any given moment. And if you have a night like you did on Wednesday night or anything close to it, like Oklahoma hit 5 home runs Wednesday night, you don't have to have 5 home runs a night, but if you could have 2 or 3, man, that does wonders for your chances to win a baseball game.
But going back to where this whole thing originated, which was singling and doubling and stealing bases and small balling your way to offensive success, that's why you would be even more confident, because I was looking at this today. North Carolina, in terms of their pitching staff, allowed the 3rd fewest home runs in the ACC this year. So let's just say that part of the equation wins out, Parker. Well, you still can just go back to your origins. They go back to your roots and, go back to singling and doubling and swiping bags and making the other team make the mistake, and you could still be in position to be successful. They've had a higher rate of runs scored via the home run in the NCAA tournament, but it doesn't mean they're incapable of figuring it out other ways if the home run ball dies off.
Yeah, amen to that. All the stuff that made them an offensive juggernaut in 2022, that made them capable of manufacturing so many runs, they're still really good at all of that. They just also have the capacity to hit home runs.
And dare I say, as of recent, as in like the last 3 or 4 days, they haven't really needed to have to go back to that to scratch and claw out games, because they've been leaving the yard with such a high degree of regularity.
No, man, I feel great about this team. It's hard not to feel great about this team. I'm excited to get up there to Omaha and just take this in as a fan, as an alumnus of the illustrious University of Oklahoma. I mean, for Sooner Scoop, Eddie and George are on the clock this weekend. I'm just hanging with my family. Of course, both my parents are OU alumni. My younger sister's at OU now as well. So,
is the whole fam going to be there?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's a family affair. It's a family affair. The park is about 20 minutes from our house. And so, man, I grew up going to the College World Series. Didn't grow up watching Oklahoma at the College World Series because it wasn't happening a whole heck of a lot during my childhood years. But here they are in 2026. And, yeah, we're going to have us a time at the ballpark. Count on that. And hope to see many of you up there. 405-651-3439. That's the First Liberty Bank text line. Come on back with us. Final segment up next here on Locked In. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510.
Make this the summer event at Landers CDJR of Norman and get hot deals like up to $15,500 off of MSRP on select new 26 Ram 1500 Crew Laramie trucks and get 2.9% financing for 72 months or take $15,000 off of MSRP on all new remaining 25 Jeep Wranglers in stock. And as always, get straightforward internet pricing with no special add-ons when you get here. Ram stock number TN179219 must finance with Stellantis Financial for 2.9% for well-qualified buyers. Wrangler stock number SW648169.
Are you worried about what might be lurking in your walls? Hi, this is Reese with Cavens Group, experts in mold and asbestos detection. For a limited time, get our comprehensive inspection and rest easy knowing your family's safety comes first. Our certified professionals use state-of-the-art technology to uncover hidden dangers and give you peace of mind. Don't wait for problems to get worse. Call Cavens Group today or visit cavensgroup.com and breathe easier tomorrow. Cavens Group, you don't need us until you need us.
Are you, your family, or company looking for a locally owned and trusted management group? Carlsbad Management Group is an owner, developer, and manager of high-quality apartment communities in Oklahoma. They are a locally owned and operated management company for apartments and self-storage units. They are committed to providing exceptional apartment homes, customer service, and increasing the value of multi-family communities under our management. If you would like a free management quote today, call Carlsbad Management at 405-701-1411 and be part of the Carlsbad family.
The Ref is the home of Sooner Diamond Sports this spring. From Patty Squad in search of another natty.
Swings and hits it deep to center field. Are you kidding me? Sooner Magic in Oklahoma City.
And Skip Sooner's sight set on Omaha.
Back to the track, to the wall. Gone! It's off the scoreboard.
The Ref has you covered.
It's the Sooners in North Carolina for the national title this Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 1:30 right here on the Ref and worldwide on the KREF app.
Hi, everybody. Toby Rowland here for one of my favorite places to golf, the Trails Golf Club in Norman. The Trails offers great golf activities for the entire family. Men's and Ladies Golf Association events, summer junior golf for the kids, plus club fittings throughout the year. The Trails also has great family social events, monthly special dinners, plus holiday brunches and catering. When you're looking for the perfect place to golf, check out the Trails Golf Club in Norman. Contact Zane Alexander today at 405-364-3790 or visit trailsgolf.com.
Hey guys, it's Dory Noka. Have you been involved in an auto accident? If so, it's time to contact the OKC Car Crash Clinic of Dr. Martin Lopez. He's a board-certified and fellowship MD with unparalleled training and experience. Dr. Lopez works with a great team of healthcare professionals and attorneys to help you achieve the best physical and financial recovery. Contact Dr. Lopez at 405-86-CRASH or at okccrash.com. Don't forget to listen every week to the Dory Noka Show for the Impact Player of the Game, brought to you by Dr. Martin Lopez.
Your favorite new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs are at Vance Auto Group in Guthrie. Miami and Woodward as well. The Vance family takes pride in having one of the highest repeat customer percentages in the region. Perhaps because they refuse to use high-pressure sales techniques. Instead, they offer friendly, family-like sales and service with a plethora of new Fords, Lincolns, GM, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. So if you're shopping for a new Ford, Lincoln, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or Chevrolet, Vance Auto Group has them all at the best prices. And every new and pre-owned vehicles come with a free engine transmission and other powertrain components guarantee, good for as long as you own the vehicle. Go to vanceautogroup.com to shop and save.
With approved credit, see dealer for lifetime guarantee details.
Back with you here on Locked In. It is the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune out here at Skinny Slims in OKC as the USA men's. Oh, I take it that was another goal, Grayson. 2-0?
It is 2-0. It is 2-0.
How about that?
Oh, wait, no, they called it off. They called it off. Somebody
called it off.
Somebody was offside.
Unbelievable. As you can tell, the folks out here watching USA Soccer here at Skinny Slims are not thrilled by that ruling. There was a moment of triumph, a moment of ecstasy.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, he was offside. Yeah, he was offside by a couple yards.
Yeah. Offside, man.
Yeah.
What a rule.
Yeah, that's an easy call.
Tragic. Okay, still 1-0 in favor of the Americans over their foes from down under,
who have dominated this first half, too.
405-651-3439. That is the first Liberty Bank text line if you want to fire any final texts our way before we wrap it up here on Locked In. And, Grayson, I mean, it's called like it is. We're getting down to the end for this 2027 cycle at Oklahoma. There may be a couple spots come the fall that Oklahoma's looking to fill. There may be a couple late evals, a couple quote-unquote 105 guys, if you will, that Oklahoma might be inclined to pursue. But as it stands right now, where's the one position that if we set the 6 guys that we already discussed that are still on the board for Oklahoma's side, Case Alexander, Jaden Fields, Uhila Wolfgramm, Bode Sparrow, Josh Christensen, and Corey Laga, those 6 aside, is there any other player, any other position where you feel like Oklahoma should make a move here?
I don't know if I'd say they should make a move here, but I'm interested to see if they do something at tight end. Did they overturn? They overturned that call, too. It's 2-0. Anyway, okay, yeah, 2-0 to the Americans, which actually, here, I'll break that down in a second. But anyway, you know what? Let me shut up right fast. Okay, now, so I'm interested to see if they make another offer at tight end in the wake of Ben Kolar deciding to go to Stanford. I think that would be the one. But, I mean, you brought 2 tight ends in last year's cycle, and then you brought in Jack Van Dorselaer as well in the transfer portal, who still is going to have years of eligibility remaining. So they're not in a dire need to go offer another tight end to pair with Seneca Driver in this 2027 class. But that would be probably the one that I would look at and say, okay, do they get involved with another one here? And then outside of that, it's, okay, what are they going to do at wide receiver for the rest of the cycle? But those would be the only 2.
I think I'm with you on wide receiver because as I think more and more about it, and look, I really like Graydon Howell. I really like Milan Green. What does the casual fan, the average fan, see when they look at a wide receiver class of Graydon Howell and Milan Green, though? They say, oh, it's a fringe 4-star in-state kid, and then they got a 3-star dude from St. Louis that no other Power 4 schools, save for Nebraska, have offered. That's what we're doing now at wide receiver at the illustrious University of Oklahoma. So, look, I'm content with the current composition of Oklahoma's wide receiver room. I think Howell and Green are both valuable additions. I think they both make sense fit-wise, just in terms of adding the proper dimension to the room as it's currently composed. But I also understand that unless the Sooners get what you might consider a big fish as a 3rd wide receiver in the class, the average fan isn't going to be too thrilled with that haul and will probably, for better or worse, take out their frustrations on Emmett Jones for it. And so I'm curious to see how that all unfolds over the next few months. Wide receiver is one of those positions, Grayson, where oftentimes in the fall you will see some late stock risers, whether they're guys that shoot onto the scene that didn't have offers before, or maybe they did have offers and they just took a massive jump junior to senior year, and it's become clear that this is no longer a G5 guy, this is a P4 guy, maybe a high-level P4 guy. Great example from a season ago, even though Oklahoma didn't land him, would be somebody like Milan Paris, right?
Yeah.
And so I think Oklahoma is going to move for a 3rd receiver at some point because they had 3 committed. They wanted to take 3. They lost Trayvon Hall and Damari DeZern. They were able to compensate by landing Milan Green pretty quickly thereafter. But 3 has kind of always been the ideal number for 27 ever since the Sooners put a bow on the class of 26. And so where does Oklahoma turn long term for a 3rd wide receiver? I don't know, but that's kind of the one storyline that I'm monitoring more so than any other heading into the fall. I mentioned this on Twitter yesterday, as well. But there's a kid, and I don't think we've talked about him on this show, but if we're talking about quote-unquote 105 guys that you maybe get on the cheap and you allow to develop for 2 or 3 seasons because you have the scholarship room these days to accommodate more dudes than you previously could under the old 85 number. If we're talking 105 guys, a guy that's becoming really, really intriguing to a lot of regional schools, even though none have pulled the trigger on an offer yet, would be Chris Addy down in Tipton, Oklahoma. And the backstory on this kid is super cool, Grayson. I mean, super cool. Did a feature on him at Soonerscoop.com in early May, and he lives at a boys' home in Tipton. So he's got parents, but one of them, his mom lives in Fargo, North Dakota. His dad lives like out in Virginia, and he's in the boys' home in Tipton. And is just like a next-level athlete. Camped at South Dakota State yesterday, which is reasonably close to where his mom lives up there in Fargo. But camped at South Dakota State, and at 6'3" and 203 pounds, ran a 4.37 in the 40.
Woo!
Spoiler alert, had he camped at Oklahoma, I do believe that would have been the fastest time run at any of Oklahoma's 4 camps.
Jeez.
And this is a dude that, get this, was camping with the big men at South Dakota State. They were working him out at edge. Now, I will freely admit, having watched this kid on tape and just kind of studied who he is as a player, gotten the chance to see him in person and evaluate how he's likely to develop physically, I don't know where he fits best positionally at the next level. But you know who I would trust to figure that out is the staff in the front office at the University of Oklahoma. I think he projects best to tight end. So, I mean, let's say Oklahoma wanted to take a 105 guy at tight end to add to Seneca Driver. I think somebody like Chris Addy, who as of right now is just kind of big and fast and doesn't have a whole lot of nuance to his game as you might expect for somebody that competes at the 1A level in Oklahoma. Like, if you're willing to roster that guy, stash him for 2 or 3 years, kind of teach him the finer points of blocking, route running, all of the requisite tricks of the trade to play that position at a high level, you might have something, because generally tight ends and really anybody that's 6'3", 203 pounds, guys that are built like that aren't running 4.37 in the 40 as juniors in high school.
No, they're not. And you make a very compelling point. So the next question off of that is, what's the holdup? Is Oklahoma going to – because I would sort of look at this similar to Zizi Okafaleze in a way where, you know, you've got a plus-sized athlete with a lot of athletic potential that hasn't really been tapped into yet and still needs to be developed. So, and we saw them get involved with ZZ a little bit later on in the cycle. Do you think this is something that they could do once again, or do you think this is going to be one where they decide to, at the end of it, not enter the fray here?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I mean, we really didn't know that question with ZZ until the first couple weeks of his senior season, which I believe in the season opener he had something ridiculous like 11 catches for 230 and 3 touchdowns. So, like, okay, there it is. Like, he's getting the Oklahoma offer, and he did. With Chris Addy, the feedback I've gotten from the Oklahoma side is that they do want to continue to track his progress. They want to see some senior film before they make a decision on whether to pursue him, see if there might be a fit for him, because I think the big thing is also my big thing. The big thing that coaching staffs across the region are wondering is also what I'm wondering and what anybody wonders when you watch that kid at the 1A level is, what does he play in college? What actually is he? Is he a tight end? Is he a defensive end? Is he an off-ball linebacker? Is he a safety? Might he be like a cheetah at Oklahoma? Is he a jumbo wide receiver? He's got running back on his tape. Like, there are so many different things you can do with this kid, but any way you slice it, he's going to need a lot of coaching, because even like the acceleration, deceleration, change of direction, the agility stuff, it's all very unrefined, very raw for Chris Addy. Mm-hmm. He's really fast, has outstanding top-end speed, as evidenced by the 40-yard dash time. But even in terms of just like being able to channel that speed and that athleticism into the movements that are required to play football at a high level, like to a certain extent, you have to turn this kid into a football player. Even though he's been playing the game for 4 or 5 years now, you got to turn him into an OU type of football player.
Sure, yeah. Absolutely. Hey, let's get one text in before we got to go. 3-star
Yeah.
Glenn from Nashville says, just looked up his backstory. You make Addy an offer with one of your 105 scholarships. He has a great story.
Yeah, really good kid as well. And somebody that is going to get an opportunity at the next level, which makes me feel good because he's going to be one of those guys that people in this great state of Oklahoma root for, especially if they're familiar with his story. Whether that happens in Oklahoma or elsewhere, who's to say? But easy kid to root for, no question. All right, folks, that is all for this Friday installment of Locked In. I'm going to try to wrap before the USA scores another goal and we have an enormous crowd pop out here at Skinny Slim's. Been a great time. Hope the Sooners can go take care of business at the College World Series this weekend in Omaha. We'll be talking about it on Monday, one way or another. See you then. Stay here. The Rush is next on The Ref.